And I'm curious here, and I don't. We're on social media. I know we can't speak freely, as much as I hate to say that. Yeah, I'll throw it your way. Whatever you can or can't say on it. You've got a major election coming up here in a month. The democratic election process. There's already been some questions raised at you. You get taken, stop campaigning. The police tell you. Um, how's it looking as far as a free and fair election, or is that just you have to go through it and see what happens?
Yeah, it's a great question. And again, I'll speak just as if we can speak freely, and hopefully this asset stays up. But again, we were not impressed and very surprised that we got stopped by the police in January. We made a video about it that went viral, and a lot of people watched. We got some press coverage for it, and I think that that's the only thing that kept the police from stopping us and from the political process from stopping us campaigning. We've pushed forward, but it's still very difficult. Like I said, it's hard to actually get media coverage because they're technically not even supposed to cover an independent candidate because I didn't actually rank in the polls on the last election because I wasn't running. So the whole thing is in a weird way almost stacked against an independent candidate. Even the mainstream media process, it's kind of in their interest to favor one of these two parties. These two parties, they run this illusion of choice on the citizens. Every 4 years or 5 years here, depending when they call elections, they give you a new choice. But a lot of times it's the same parties just signing off on failure. There's no innovation. There's no need to change. So like you mentioned, knife crime here, it's a shocking level. The fact that it even exists is probably surprising to you. There's knife crime in London? Like, I can't believe that's a thing. It is a thing. And someone gets stabbed on the streets here every few days. And I'm talking teenagers and kids in all over the city. And I've got kids. I reached out to Tim Kennedy about this because I know he teaches a lot of like knife defense courses and stuff. I know you guys are friends, and we had a great episode on London Real. And I really respect him. And when I'm mayor, I really want to get some help when it comes to understanding this problem. But it's also an issue of where are the police? What are we giving these kids to do after school? And so there's like real issues here we need to talk about. And I've spent the last few months just trying to discover those issues. But whether we'll actually have a free chance, I mean, I just have to move forward.
Yeah.
For a while because of COVID restrictions, literally I can't do a live event right now.
Yeah.
And we're restricted to the number of people we can talk to. Now we've got great digital platforms, but you can't win a campaign digitally. So it's tricky. There's also the whole postal voting system. We think that'll be a small percentage, but we've invited people to postal vote and we've been able to send them out, but I don't know what happens there. So it's a very unique time. I've been calling for free and fair elections in exactly those terms you just used for 3 or 4 months. Honestly, after I got arrested, I said we should have the UN here to monitor the elections, just like they do in sometimes third world countries, because something doesn't seem right here. I had a Russian friend of mine here in London. You mentioned Russia, who grew up in Russia, then went to Canada. He lives here now. He's been on my show. And he said, Brian, this feels like Russia to me. He said, this feels a little like Russia. He said, give the people the minimum. They won't protest these rules that don't make a lot of sense. And so, yeah, all we can do, though, is still go forward. So everyone says, Brian, what do you think you can go up against the machine? You'll never have a chance. But I'm like, well, we have to do something. And so, some people are critical of my campaign or of our policies. But I'm like, I can't just sit back and do nothing. Because if I hadn't a run right now, there literally wouldn't be any other choice but these two candidates. And they're both, I watched this debate, quote unquote, the other night on BBC. At first I was insulted I wasn't invited. And then I watched these two jokers talk back and forth for 30 minutes. They actually have the same argument at the council every month anyways. They've both been in politics for their whole lives. They're these career politicians that are pretty much both responsible for the last 20 years of London politics. And I just looked at them and thinking, is that really the choice we have for potentially one of the greatest cities in the world? Like, it just makes me sad. So, we're here to shake it up. We've got a lot of support on the streets. I actually think we could be looking at the biggest political upset in British history on May 6th, because people know who I am, JP. A lot of people have followed me for 10 years. They've seen my movies. They've seen me have conversations with real people, and they really know who I am.
Yeah.
But some people don't. And so it's been It's been quite a process. And I've learned a lot, man. I've learned a lot about knife crime. I know how to build affordable housing now, something I knew nothing about 6 months ago. I know how to fix our transport system, something I knew nothing about 6 months ago. I've got some great ideas to kickstart the economy. Again, I think my ideas are 10 times better than the competition, but it's about getting the word out. So it's been fascinating. I'll have to write a book about this one day.